backup system failure, atmospheric pressure destabilizing, venting outside air, triggering neuromuscular electrical stimulation. The thick vapor filling the chamber dissipated as it washed over me. It had enrobed me, saturated my skin during hypersleep, giving my body what it needed to survive in transit. But something had gone wrong. Maybe a breach in the containment system. I heard a series of clicks and a whirring, then precious bursts of vacillating oxygen were pulled in through the vents. Now I was fully alert. The system had done its job in resuscitating me, but I still couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The problem with my respiration wasn't the pod's fault. It was mine. The facts were evident. My own body was failing me, and if I couldn't kickstart my own system, I was going to die. Alone. In space. A tiny shock, the first in a series to reinvigorate my muscles, started my heart pounding faster, making my need to take in air even more desperate. Little pinpricks ran down my spine, warming my limbs enough for me to move my arms. Finally able to move, I pounded on my chest, once, twice, a third time, and then a rush of gas inflated my lungs. My chest muscles relaxed, and I exhaled a green fog before taking in a breath of sweet-tasting recycled air. Vision clearing and moving less clumsily now that my muscles were waking up, I touched the glass above me, scrolling through the message again, then pressed my palm against the dome. Crew member Astra Meador, Stasis Pod 0041. Confirm. My voice sounded husky, and I coughed. You are confirmed, crew member Meador. The computer spoke in a pleasant female voice that sounded a bit too much like my mother, who'd been left behind on Earth. How many other pods have failed? I asked, my voice growing stronger. Your pod is the only one compromised at this time. The glass flashed red again. Pathogen detected. Warning, patho... The alert flashed again, flickered, and then went out. I tapped a few buttons, and the glass moved aside with a pneumatic hiss. My mother had warned me before we even boarded that my serum might register with the stasis pod as a pathogen, but the green gas quickly dissipated, settling on my skin, drawn to it as if by a magnet. My mother's theory was that my body reabsorbed the medicine, the cells of my skin capturing it and feeding on it like a leaf does with sunshine. Her hypothesis wasn't backed by any evidence, other than the fact that my exposed skin seemed revitalized after every dose. The skin scrapings she'd done showed no similarity to plants whatsoever. I never expected otherwise. But my mom was the best biophysicist in all the worlds, and if she compared everything to plants, that was just par for the course. I always rolled my eyes when she made plant comparisons to everything, but then laughed when my dad teased her. He'd say her egghead was showing, but he liked the way she combed her hair over it. The alarm cut off. Even if it hadn't, my mom, prepared as she was for every contingency, had taught me how to bypass the computer system. After all, she'd been the one to create the list of pathogens the computer regularly searched for anyway. Still, waking as I did, my lungs immobile, hadn't been something we'd prepared for, or a possibility we'd discussed. Luckily for me, my chamber, Pod 0041, had been specially modified. It functioned differently than the others, using a special hyperbaric lining, because I was different from everybody else. Ironically, my mother's modifications, which were secretly completed before we left Earth, must have triggered a technological breakdown. In essence, we'd somehow blown a fuse. I swung my legs off the bed and rolled my feet at the ankles before gingerly setting them down on the deck of the ship. Once I felt secure enough, I stood, careful to keep a solid grip on the pod. Nausea swept through me. Clicking a button on the medical cabinet by the exit, I said,